Hello traders, good evening. Let us now take a look at what are the support resistance areas that we have and what is the trading plan for tomorrow, and tomorrow being 26th of September 2024. Again, before we start, if you're liking the contents of these videos, please like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and click on the notification icon. Let us now get back into the monthly chart once again. So nothing has changed in the monthly chart as of now. Yesterday we closed around the 90 areas, and today we opened at the same spot. We went up to the 94, 95 area and then dropped back down to the 68 line and then picked it up from there again and went up to 84. So at this point of time, the major lows on the lower time frames has not been broken, and the price is loitering somewhere around the 79.80 area at this point of time. So looking at the monthly chart, nothing has changed. This 5721 line remains the major support on the monthly chart. If we can break this down, then we can come down to the 5670 areas on the monthly chart. Again, we know that there are multiple support and resistance areas that we have here, which we will be able to find in the lower time frame charts. But as of now, we are still expecting the price to get above the all-time high and keep going higher. But again, there are two things that is stopping that at this point of time. Number one being we have already touched the monthly ATR, but that does not mean it cannot go up. And the second one is the weekly wedge that we will take a look at again on the weekly chart. So if we can break out of the weekly wedge, there are several targets that we have on the upside. And tomorrow morning, again, Jeremy Powell will be speaking at some time, and that may act as a catalyst and start pushing the market to the upside. Let us now move on to the weekly chart. Now, if we look at the weekly chart, this was the wedge that we were talking about. This was the first touch, the second touch, and we did the third touch today. So based on that, we came down around 25-30 points today, but then we have picked it up, and right now we are again somewhere around the 578480 area. So based on the weekly chart, although we did come down, we did not break any of the major lows that we have on the lower time frames. The 7273 area again worked as a very good area of support, and we kept bouncing from there. We did not break that down convincingly even for a single time, and then it bounced from there. We created a trading range, and now we will have to see tomorrow whether we are breaking out of the trading range and continuing to go up higher. First of all, we would like to see that this 84-87 area, this 84 to the 87 area is getting taken out. Then we will see if we can come back to the all-time high again, which is at 97.75, and if we can get above this wedge line at this point, which is the high of today, at that point of time we will see if we are getting above the 5800 line, and if we can get above the 5800 line, we know that we have several targets to the upside that we will again see when we look on the 5-minute chart and the 1-hour chart. On the downside, again, I am expecting that the 7273 area, or at least the low of today, which is around 68, that those areas will hold. If that does not hold, the next support that we have is on the 5762 line, failing which the weekly support that we have next is at 5745, and below 5745, this is one major area at 5732. If this area is breaking down, then we can come down to the 5724, and breaking that, as I said yesterday also, we may actually see the lower 5700s once again. So that is all we have on the weekly chart as of now. There is nothing new to mark on the weekly chart, except the fact that I would want to mark the 50% of this week's chart, which incidentally again falls on the 72 to the 73 line. Now we also know that the weekly ATR that we had last week was at 180 points. So based on that, if we are breaking out of this wedge line, there's a lot of room to the upside, which the weekly bulls can cover. So if you look at the daily chart today, you will see that the bulls are actually trapped on the high of this particular candle. We went one tick up during the RTH hours, and then we came down to the 5768 area, and right now we have closed around the 5783 area for the day. Now we need to remember that this 5798.75 area is also a strong resistance, because we have the weekly wedge line there. Along with that, if you look at this channel, this is the 50% of this particular channel. So now we will have to see that we are breaking out of this. That will mean we are breaking out of the weekly wedge, as well as we are breaking out above the 50% of this particular channel. And then we will see what are the different targets that we have to the upside. Now, if we look at the legs again, this was the first leg up. We came down. This was the second leg, and we are in the third leg as of now. This was an inside bar above which the third leg has already started. And as of now, we have not taken out any of the lows in the daily chart in order to say that there is another leg that is starting to the downside. So if we can get above this 5799, we know that 5836 is the area that we are targeting on the upside for the bulls. And then above that tomorrow, if we can get above the 5836 area, the other target on the channel high line will be at 5860. Yesterday it was at 5844 based on where the candle would have met this line. But since it will be tomorrow, it will go up here now and the target will be somewhere in the 5858 to the 5860 area. For that, I will keep a line here for now. On the downside, if we cannot get above this 5785 area, then there is a chance that we will come down to the lows again. If we are breaking down that 73 line and we are also breaking down the 67 line, the next support that we have on the daily chart is around 60 to the 57 area, breaking down which we can even come down to the low of this channel at 5752. Now we will have to see that if we are bouncing from this 5752 area, I will keep a line at the 5752 area for now. Now, if we are not able to get above the 578485 or the 5786 area, there is a chance that we will be coming down. And for tomorrow, we will have to remember that this low of today will actually be the low of this particular channel. Now, we will have to be very careful if this channel is breaking down. If this channel is breaking down, the first support can be found at the 5755 line again. And below that, we can come down to this 5733 to the 5724 area. After the 5724 area, the next support that we have on the daily chart is at 5702 or the 03 level. Now, all the charts that we are discussing right now, the read-only link to all these are given in the description below. Along with that, you will also find the link to our free Discord server as well as the Facebook page, and you are very welcome to join there. Now, if I am looking at the 4-hour chart, after this new high was created, we got this first leg down, we went back up, and then we created this second leg to the downside. In the process, we also had the first leg and the second leg to the upside, and now we have created a new high, after which this was the first leg down. We have now pulled back. Now we will have to see if we are able to get above this 5784 line, and then we can get to the 578990 area, which has been also a very strong support and resistance line. Above that, we can come inside this box between 5799 and 5793. We know that the bulls are trapped here. The bulls who bought this high, if they have bought the lows here again, then they have actually got their break even at the 5783 line. On the upside of the 4-hour chart, I will also have this particular wedge line kept there, because if the price comes up here, we know that there is also a wedge line on the 4-hour chart, and we have to break out of this, and then we have to break out of the all-time high at this 98.75 line, and then we will see if we are able to move back to the upside. Now, there is also this particular trend line that I will be keeping on the chart right now, because this is making sense at this point. This was the first leg down, and we are having a pullback on the 4-hour chart right now. So if we are having a second leg down, which is breaking down these particular lows, the next support on the 4-hour chart we will be finding at the 576362 area, breaking which we can come to the 5760 area. So the area between this 5760 line and the 5763 line will work as a support. Instead of these two lines, I would rather have a box drawn there at this point of time, and I will mark that as a buy zone. If we fail this, then the next support is at 5755, which is also a major support. Now, if this major support is broken down, the next area of target that we will have on the 4-hour chart will be somewhere between 5748 to the 5746 area, this whole part, or the 5743 area. Now, if the bears are strong enough and they want to bring it down, they can also bring it down to the 5733 and then to the 572624 area, and after that we know we can have a big slump to the downside if the bulls are not able to defend the 5724 line. Now, since this has come down, it makes sense for us to find out what can be a 1:1 of this particular bar if it comes down for a second leg to the downside, and that will come to 5737. As a result of that, I will have this line marked as the 4-hour MM target with respect to this particular candle that we had. Now I have removed all the drawing from the 4-hour chart, and we are trying to find out what is the trading range that we have. As we know, this is the trading range that we have on the 4-hour chart. And if we are drawing our fibs on this particular trading range, we will see that this is the 50% of the range around the 57, 73, 72 area. And then the lower one third is at 5766. We bounced right around that area today. And if you are breaking this down tomorrow, then the next areas of support will be the 5761, 5757, and finally the 5753 or the 5755 line. If we are breaking this whole thing down, the 1:1 of this particular trading range to the downside will be at 5711, while the 1:1 of the trading range to the upside will again be at 5836, which we know is the target that we have at this point of time. Now let us take a look at the 1-hour chart. So on the 1-hour chart, if you see, we created this new high, we trapped the bulls there, and we came down one leg here. This actually pulled back from this particular trend line. This was the triangle trend line that we had, and I said that I will extend it once we are getting out of this triangle. And if you see, this triangle line has been working as a real good support at this point. On the other side, I have extended this line as well, and we will have to see if the price comes and touches this line somewhere on the upside, and then it is getting rejected. So after trapping the bulls, we had a very strong leg down here, and then we did a pullback. We came down back again. We can consider that this was the second leg that got completed, and now we are having the second entry long to the upside. Many systems may not see it as a completion of a leg, and they would want to get down below another candle to create that second leg to the downside. Then we will see how far that candle is going down. If it needs a measured move of these bodies to the downside, then we will actually see the price come down to the 5763 or the 62 level. I was expecting that today, but then that would have happened only if we broke down the 5770 line, which never happened. Now we are right at the previous 83 line. If we can get above it, we can come to this 5792 or the 5790 area. However, there is a big chance that if the second leg is not done and the price comes up here as a two-legged move to the upside, then there is a possibility that we will hit this area and then we will start the second leg down to the downside. So we have to keep in mind this 5792 to the 90 area, and we will have to look for rejections there in order to see if the price wants to come down and do a second leg to the downside. If we are saying that this is the total length of the first leg, and then if we are starting to sell from this area again, the price will again come back to this 5767 area, and we know that we are in a trading range and we will continue to be in that trading range, right? So if the price came up here, this was the first touch, this was the second touch, this was the third touch, we did the wedge, but this is also three tops on the trading range. The 7-3 line is the midpoint of the trading range, and the bottom of that is at the 55 area. Based on these two levels on the top and the bottom, that is how we have decided where the trading range is, as we saw on the 4-hour chart. So it is highly possible that overnight we come down to these areas again, create a lower low, and then if we are getting a strong upside push, it is possible that since we have done this lower low and we get above this 85 line, we will be able to reach higher than this particular swing high and keep going to the upside. The first target will again be at the 5807 to the 05 area, and then we will come to the 5815 to the 10 area. Above that, we have a measured move target at 5818 and another measured move target at 5836, and finally we can reach that 5860 line in order to say that okay, the bulls have reached the top of the channel. Now, just like we saw on the 4-hour chart, this 5767 line needs to break down. This is a very strong support. Now, if this line is breaking down, 61.5 will be a minor support. But then if this line breaks down, there is a big possibility that we will come down to this area at 57.55. And then we will see what the market is doing there. If it keeps on falling, we will have some support at the 5745 to the 43 area again. And below that, we will come between this 37 and 30 area. Failing which, the next major line will be at the 5724 line. And if we break it down, we will see somewhere in the lower 5700s once again. So I am repeating these lines over and over again just to make sure that when you guys are listening to it, these lines are getting registered in your mind. And then when the time comes and when you are trading live in the market, it will be very easy to identify what is going on. Now, looking at the 5 minute chart, this was the major low that we had. And after that, the major low that we have is in this 5-5 area. And this area can provide some kind of support as well. If we are falling below the 5755 to the 5752 area, this 52 area is also the lower channel line on the daily time frame. Below that, the major support will be at 5745 to the 42 area, failing which we can come down to this 5733.5. And if we are breaking this 5733.5, this will be the last hold on this chart right now between 26 and 24, failing which we can come down to these levels as well. Now, if we are able to move to the upside and we are able to get above this 87 line, this is the trade. This red box is actually the trading range that we had yesterday. So if you look at this, we also did a 1:1 of this particular trading range down at 5777, and we even got the 1:2 of that particular trading range at the 5767 levels. Now, since we have done the 1:2 of this trading range to the downside, now we will have to see if the price is moving to the upside. If we are getting above this 5787 line and this 5789 area, finally above this trading range, we will come to this 9392 area. If we can get above that, we will come somewhere between this 97 and 99 area. If we get above that, which is the current all-time high as well as the high of today, we know that the next measured move target is at 5810, 5818, and then we can get up to the 5836 and ultimately to the 5860 levels. I will also keep a line at the 5805 line because we know that 02 to 05 is actually a generic support and resistance area in every 100 of ES mini. So I would like to see that this area is not broken down. I will keep a line here for now because this has been the low of today. So I would like to see that this area is not broken down. If it does a trading range between this area and then we keep going up in the morning, then there is a good possibility that we will come and touch this. Again, we have to remember that Jeremy Powell will be speaking tomorrow. So when he is starting to speak, there may be a lot more volatility that may come into the market. Now, based on this analysis, we will come back again tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. EST for the pre-market plan. If you want to join the pre-market plan, the link to that Google Meet is given in the description below. Again, please like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel and click on the notification icon, and I'll see you guys again in the morning at 8:45 a.m. EST. Till then, have a great night, everyone. Bye.